Kimmy is a stripper. She suffered a childhood trauma. Her mom's boyfriend sexually assaulted her, and her mom chose the boyfriend over Kimmy, kicking her out of the house. This is how Kimmy met Rain. Desperate for money, they attempted to transport what they thought was a harmless item on a flight, but it turned out to be drugs. They were caught, but a police officer named Jules intervened and got them off the hook. Instead of going to jail, Kimmy, Angel, and Rain began working for Jules. She's desperate to escape the club life and win the prestigious Beauty and Black Hair Scholarship. But reality keeps knocking her down. Her club takes a huge cut of her earnings, leaving her and her best friend, Rain, barely scraping by. Then there's Roy, a powerful figure who expects her to play by his rules. When she fails to impress him, he kicks her out, reminding her just how little control she has. Despite Rain's doubts, Kimmy refuses to give up. Beauty in Black is run by Mallory Bellery, a woman who built her empire by marrying rich and demanding equity. While Mallory has her own mess, a lawsuit threatens her company. Before Kimmy can chase her dreams, she has to survive another brutal night at work. Things go south fast in the VIP room. Her client, Horace, is way more interested in the male dancer, Angel, than in her. When Kimmy calls him out, he bolts, leaving her empty-handed. Jules, the club enforcer, is not pleased. Kimmy needs to start making real money or things will get ugly. And ugly they do get. She's sent back to Roy, who makes it clear: cooperate or end up in a hospital or worse. She plays along but takes a risky shot, dialing his phone and reaching his wife. The twist? His wife is Mallory Bellery. She answers Roy's call while driving and hits someone with her car. Instead of stopping, she drives off. Rain makes a reckless decision, getting illegal butt implants from a sketchy doctor. The procedure is horrific, done with nothing but alcohol for anesthesia. When Kimmy comes home, she finds Rain unconscious, blood everywhere. Unlike Mallory, Roy actually picked up the hit woman hurt after he hit her again, with his car shoving the woman into his trunk. Back home, he and Mallory explode. She's furious about his infidelity. He thinks she's setting him up, but their real problem: the woman is dead. They need to ID her before the cops do. Roy wants Jules to handle it, but Mallory refuses. Jules knows too much already. Their plans unravel when the cops pull them over while they're dumping the car. Roy, drunk as usual, fails the breathalyzer and gets hauled to the station. Worse, the cops want to tow the car with the body still inside. Jules swoops in and smooths things over, but Mallory plays dirty. She tells him Roy was the one who hit the woman. Kimmy refuses to watch Rain suffer. She rushes her to the hospital, knowing it could backfire. And it does. Jules catches her outside and loses it. Taking Rain to the hospital puts everyone at risk. He forbids her from coming back there and asks that she go back to the club. Mallory and Roy keep up their perfect power couple act in public, but find the hit-and-run victim's body missing. Back at the club, a familiar face returns Horace. This time, he specifically requests Kimmy. In exchange for setting up a meeting with Angel, Kimmy makes a deal. Horace has to check on Rain at the hospital. Angel agrees, but on one condition: no sex, just a dance. Kimmy sets it up. At the motel, Horace starts coughing blood. He asks Kimmy to take him home. She expects a small place. Instead, a mansion. Inside, she goes to grab his meds, and that's when she sees it. A picture of Roy, Mallory, and Horace together. Kimmy barely holds it together, and here's where it all clicks. Horace isn't just rich. He's the Bellery patriarch, the man behind Beauty in Black. He warns her about Beauty in Black's lie relaxer causing cancer and tasks her with retrieving his stolen watch from Angel. Oh, and one last thing, Jules. He's not just some enforcer. He answers to Horace Bellery. She tracks down Angel and demands the watch back. Angel hesitates but hands it over. This isn't just some rich guy's Rolex. This is Jules' father's watch. Norman, Horace's brother, is furious. His partner, Ina, was left for dead on the road and is now in a medically induced coma. Jules tries to calm him down, but Norman isn't letting this go. He calls Mallory to warn her, but Mallory? She couldn't care less. As far as she's concerned, Jules is head of security, his problem now. Body and Dega, the same people responsible for Rain's botched surgery, show up at her motel, beating her up as a warning not to talk about the surgery. Olivia arrives demanding answers about Ina from her son Charles, who's too busy hooking up with a random guy, curtains wide open. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, Charles is Roy's brother, which explains that family photo Kimmy saw. Mallory confronts Roy about cheating after an anonymous call. He denies it until she says, "Call my wife." And guess what? It does. Yeah, Roy just realized Kimmy set him up, and now he's on the warpath. While Kimmy is at the hospital visiting Rain, an unwelcome guest arrives, Jules. Furious, she disobeyed him, and he's about to send a very clear message. He gets into his car, revs the engine, and almost slams into her right in front of an ambulance. But the car's safety features stop him at the last second. Jules leans out and delivers a chilling promise. "Come back here again, and next time, you'll be leaving in a morgue." That afternoon, Norman finds something critical, Ina's shoe, lying on a private road leading back to the Bellary house. He knows one of them ran her over. Now, he just needs to figure out who. Horace calls a family meeting about the company's lawsuit, but Charles is too busy sexting. Horace chews him out, spewing cruel insults. Horace dislikes his son for being gay until Olivia steps in. Then, Norman bursts in. Norman isn't here to play. He demands answers on Ina's hit and run, but faces deflection. He threatens to destroy the company if Ina dies. Olivia pulls Horace aside. Norman knows too much. If he flips, game over. Horace, however, doesn't seem worried. Angel rolls up to the motel with a wild plan. Rob Horace's safe and run. Kimmy knows better. There's no easy way out, so she heads to work. Unfortunately, the money isn't rolling in, but then Horace shows up. She hands over the watch to him, but this time, she's cold and distant. Then, Charles walks in. Yeah, that Charles Horace's rebellious son, and he immediately gravitates toward Angel. A huge problem, considering Daddy Horace is in the VIP booth. Thinking fast, Kimmy runs interference, moving Charles and Angel out of sight. Olivia reminds Norman who's in charge. Instead of backing down, she comes out swinging, blackmailing him into silence. Turns out, women have been disappearing under very shady circumstances, and Olivia has receipts. If Norman doesn't shut up about the hit and run, she'll expose him and Jules for human trafficking. Just like that, the war is temporarily on pause. Kimmy finally makes it to the hospital, only to find out Rain is gone. And according to a nearby patient, she's dead. Then, it gets worse. When she gets back to the motel, she's snatched up, thrown into a car, and delivered to Roy's place. And Roy, still unhinged. He starts trauma dumping while mocking Kimmy's intelligence, convinced she's too dumb to have worked a phone. Sir, please. In the end, he lets her go. Lucky break. Jules tells Horace. Roy was the one who hit Ina. All the security footage? Wiped clean, unless Ina wakes up and starts talking. There's no hard evidence. Horace considers pulling the plug on Ina, but instead, he calls in a favor, to make sure someone else does it. That night, a mystery nurse conveniently appears in Ina's hospital room. He starts asking around only to realize no one on staff has ever seen her before. Yeah, Horace is up to something. And Norman? He's starting to put the pieces together. Jules is this close to replacing Body with Kimmy, since Body can't keep the ladies in check. To keep her spot, Body tries to offer Jules a little incentive. He declines, with disgust. You know how many men been up there? Meanwhile, Varney, the company lawyer, is busy sneaking around with Charles. He's still in the closet and refusing to be seen with Charles in public. Just when things couldn't get worse, Norman gets the news he was dreading. Ina has taken a turn for the worse. Severe brain bleeding, only being kept alive by machines. Norman doesn't need 3 guesses to figure out what happened. He picks up the phone and calls Horace. His message? I'm coming for both of your sons. Horace? He barely reacts. If you're coming, you're not meant to announce it. Just do it. Mallory is done playing defense. The cancer protests are gaining momentum, and she wants the protesters dealt with by any means necessary. Her prime target? Lena Walton, yep, the same lawyer who hit her with that lawsuit back in episode 1. Jules reminds Mallory that things are already messy enough. At the hospital, Norman is on edge. He wants Ina transferred immediately before anything else happens to her. But while the doctor argues about his wife's state, Mallory walks in. She plays innocent, claiming she has no idea who did this and swears that Roy wouldn't have left Ina in this condition. Lies, lies, and more lies. Roy meets up with Lena Walton, outside Beauty, in Black HQ. She suggests they settle this privately, away from Mallory. Roy doesn't immediately say yes, but he's definitely considering it. Kimmy gets a call from her sister, Sylvie. Back home, Frank is still a nightmare. Sylvie is desperate to leave, clinging to the hope that Kimmy will bring her to Chicago and let them work together. Thing is, Kimmy's been lying about how successful she is. But after opening up to Angel about her family, he pushes her toward the heist. We take the money, pick up Sylvie, and disappear. Sounds simple. It won't be. Roy reconsiders meeting Lena, but Jules thinks Mallory or Horace should handle this mess instead. Then, without wasting time, Jules runs straight to Mallory to warn her about Roy's plan. They start scheming to shut him down. And then, Norman snaps. En route to the new hospital, Ina dies. So Norman, he pulls out his gun and shoots all the EMTs. Then, he leaves. Norman isn't wasting any time. He heads to the tow yard where Ina was found, hoping to piece together the mystery. The man behind the booth mentions a silver car that passed by, but doesn't recognize Jules' face. He does, however, point out a yellow Lamborghini was in the area, and only the police have seen the footage. Norman's radar is up. He's definitely onto something. Back at the office, things aren't exactly calm. Roy shows up high as a kite, much to Mallory's dismay. She orders him to go home and sleep it off, but it's Calvin who steps in to de-escalate the situation. Jillian takes Roy home and high tension between Calvin and Mallory escalates when he makes sexually suggestive remarks, aware of her attraction to dominant men, a quality she finds lacking in Roy. This leads to a passionate encounter in the elevator. Kimmy is getting ready, while Angel is preparing for their heist. He recruits Salvo, a security guard, to back him up, just in case things go sideways with Horace. Meanwhile, Body keeps taunting Kimmy about a new young girl 16 years old. Kimmy and Angel arrive at Horace's place. They expect a mansion, but what they find is a modest suburban house. While Angel and Horace head upstairs for drinks, Kimmy stays downstairs. Angel sends a text. Then, a shocking twist. Rain calls Kimmy. Turns out, she's still alive but moved to a different hospital. Kimmy instantly realizes Horace had a hand in this. Charles' car is hit with a barrage of gunfire on the private road, bursting into flames. Kimmy urges Horace to leave the house, but before they can act, armed guys burst in, demanding he gives the password to. The safe is hidden under the bed, and once it's opened, the guards begin to pull out the cash, but not for long. In a shocking move, Horace casually grabs a gun from a chair and takes out every single one of them. Horace turns on Kimmy and Angel, demanding answers. Angel takes full responsibility for the mess. Kimmy opens up about the blackmailing that's been going on, revealing that she, along with Angel, has been coerced into the life they lead. A shady judge named Harold Wiss Collins is at the center of this mess, and Horace is taken aback by this new information. Despite their involvement, Horace surprisingly decides not to kill Kimmy and Angel. Instead, he orders them to leave, sparing their lives. With the bodies piling up, Horace calls in Jules to clean up the mess. He covers for Kimmy and Angel, spinning a story that the shooting was a botched robbery attempt by the sod company. Horace is far from finished. He's set to pay Harold Wiss Collins a visit at 6 a.m. Kimmy and Angels reunite, with Rain recovering in a different hospital. The trio shares a bittersweet reunion. Calvin continues to pursue Mallory, trying to push the boundaries of their relationship. His arrogance is palpable as he tests her patience, even claiming that he's the one who can give her what she needs. But Mallory's not having it. She warns him, betray her and she'll kill him. Roy, in his usual mess of self-destructive behavior, meets Lena, trying to bribe her and offer her a job at the company. Mallory arrives just in time to take over the conversation, offering Lena the same deal. Lena isn't easily swayed, and Mallory's words suggest she'll get her way eventually, no matter the cost. After Roy's failed attempt to win Lena over, he and Mallory head home. Roy's suspicions about Mallory's infidelity grow as he notices she's not wearing underwear, fueling their tension even more. The argument is interrupted when they notice an ambulance down the private road at the scene of Charles' car fire. At the motel, Body shows up with devastating news. Her new 16-year-old worker is none other than Sylvie, Kimmy's sister, who's been pulled into the life against her will. The revelation sends Kimmy into a rage, and a brutal fight ensues between the two women. Kimmy finally snaps, taking matters into her own hands when she drives her car into Body, crushing her in an act of defiance and anger.